Greetings, everyone. Hope you had a lovely weekend. We are in the final week of Stimulate Your Business, and we are looking at the yin and yang of your business model. The yang side is you actually having a business or starting a side gig, or you want to improve the bottom line in your business, and you're going to do your business plan, your marketing plan, all of the action steps that you need to do. And I am here to help you with the inside of your business using Chinese metaphysics of person, space, and time. So the person is your business astrology, the space is the feng shui, and the time is using favorable timing with the TimeBlazr. So it's really looking at your calendar in a very, very different way. If you are new to me, hi, my name is Kathleen Zemansky. I'm a business feng shui master, astrologer, and a favorable timing expert using my proprietary calendar called the TimeBlazr, which is basically the looking at the animal signs that would be connecting with you, looking at the 5 elements in yin and yang. So it's really a very holistic system looking at the exact same things, and it's just connecting them and weaving them together, stitching your own fabric to create an incredible business model that will really help you outdo your competition. So this is really a way that you can do a business model that if you're having a little bit of problem in your business right now, why don't you just try one of the great, great top secrets of this particular system that's been tried and true for thousands of years. So it is something that, has been around for centuries, and we know that it has a given track record. So I'm introducing it in standard business English to you. You don't really have to do a lot of study. This is really a hands-on, practical for you to do no matter what business field that you're in. And just to let you know, some of my clients are attorneys, they're in medical professions, they're coaches, and I even have top Silicon Valley titans that hire me for my services. So I'm giving you the best of what I can provide for you in this free training. And then we're going to start introducing ways for you to, if you'd like to take this a little bit step further, which I highly recommend you doing, because this was just a 3-week hands-on to have you really start to understand and really feel these different energies. Okay, all right, so let's get started with some interesting things that we can be doing here. The first thing, if you are new to my community, thank you so much, so much for coming today and spending this last week with us. And this is something I also want you to know. This is time sensitive, especially this week. After today is gone, we really can't go back and go, oh gosh, I wish I would have thought about this, and I wish I would have done this. So we really have to act now by pulling all of this information together. And then what I'm going to do for you, I'm going to move over to this next slide. Okay, so for those of you, again, if you are new to me, what I would love to gift to you today is a free 30-day time trial. Now, this is one per person. We're going to try to keep this free model going for as long as we can, but we also need you to participate ethically yourself. One per person. Okay, this is a one-time deal, and this may be the last time that I am going to be doing this for absolutely free. But for right now, you can get a free 30 time trial using that URL, free 30 time trial, and it will be a personalized version of this particular software. And again, this is my pride and joy. I put many years of thought, and this really came to me. This whole system divinely came to me. I can tell you that for sure. And I think I'm going to stay on the slide and tell you just a little bit about this journey of how the TimeBlazr even came about, because I think it's important for you to know the genesis of how things came about. So I was at a silent meditation retreat, and this was actually 12 years ago. next year. So it was in another year. It was a year of the tiger. So every 12 years, we're going to see the animals repeat. There's going to be a different element on top. For example, this upcoming year in 22 is going to be a water tiger, but neither here nor there. I was sitting at this silent retreat, and beautiful spot. I live in Marin County, California currently, and that's where I was. I was at this beautiful retreat center. And as I was sitting there, I literally got this download in my silence of it was like use the calendar, and it was like I didn't know what I was hearing, but it was just use the calendar. So, back when I was first learning date selection or favorable timing, or Zeiri for those of you who know the Chinese term, everything was in Chinese characters. It was written in a very esoteric language. And it was like you really needed to be a practitioner to decode and deconstruct any given day or time and put so many layers together that it really wasn't accessible from a user who is not a practitioner. So you always were dependent on using the TimeBlazr from hiring a date selection specialist, which is not really well known in the Western market. It's absolutely, you would never get married in the Eastern cultures without engaging with a date selection specialist. You would never forge a business partnership without looking at the astrology of both of the partners and seeing if it's a good idea to make this joint venture, whether it be a small or a legal entity. You would never launch a product or service or a program without hiring a date selection specialist. You would never buy a piece of property without signing on a very good day and time. You would never move. You wouldn't do feng shui activations. And there's so many applications. And even going back to the art of war, you would never engage in a battle without really consulting a date selection, and truthfully also a Chimin Dunja, which I call Universal Gateway, which is a little bit outside of the scope, but we'll weave those in throughout the year as well, so you can get those benefits as well. But during this program, we are talking about person, space, and time. Going back to the retreat, I started getting this download of what you're seeing on my screen right now. It was very, very much what I was getting downloaded. I was seeing this calendar, you know, and truthfully, it was going to be for me. It was like, oh, I'm going to just like do, find out what my best dates are for the year, plan out my year this way. This was great. So I'm getting this download. It's like, no, you have some top clients that would also like to get this particular system. So, even though you're not supposed to rush out of a silent retreat, you're supposed to, feeling very, very, balanced there. I was so energized, you guys. I was so energized by this particular download that I was this universal intelligence that was flowing through my body, and I'm grounded because I'm in meditation, and I am now receiving this information. And I had two choices. I could have gone, that's a great idea. That's a good idea. Maybe I should act on that sometime. One day I will figure it out. No, I had a fire under my tush, you guys, and it was like I went to a office supply store and I got one of those poster laminated calendars, if you will. And with that, I started with my date selection book, which was called a Tong Shu in Chinese. What I would do is I went through all of the dates and I went, oh, okay, these are the good dates. And then I started with markers to go ahead and plan out the year that way. And by the way, this particular retreat happened to be in November, which is always when I am planning out my next year. And I'm even moving it back several months at this point. So anyone that really wants to launch something knows that you need at least a year, 3 years, sometimes 5 years to launch some things, or you need for a small program, you need about six months. So you have to sort of start planning ahead. So I do plan a little bit earlier than I was back in the day, but nonetheless, it was like, oh, now I know a couple of other clients that would really like this technology. But as soon as I started doing the private calendars for people, which was very manual at the time, I didn't have my software to give personalized versions. What I started to think about is like, how can I do this? Maybe in a group course or something like that. How could I do this in a group course so I could, instead of doing it for one or a few, I could do it for many? Again, we were doing when I was teaching this, it was we didn't have YouTube like we do today, or Facebook. So it was just kind of a local clientele that I was drawing in that would have access to this technology. So I am so delighted. Now we're going into 3 years, if you will, 3 years, I believe, where we're actually personalizing these versions with software so that it's accessible to you. So you don't have to hire. So, believe me, to choose a date, depending on the type of date, you're looking at least $2,500 for one date, which I give you like three selections, like if you're forging a partnership, or when do I launch this product, because it really still does take time to personalize it down to that even to certain minutes. We could say like, launch exactly at this time, or forge this partnership at this time, sign the document at this time. So this is really how we have progressed over time. And your feedback always, 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 always is important. And if we see enough people asking for different features, we'll weave them in when we can. Now, remember, we are a small company, and so it does take a little bit of time to implement new features and benefits into the software, but we're always open to hearing what you have to say. So I wanted to also let you know that you are part of this beta version, if you will, of making sure that you get the things that you will be searching for. So, okay, let's head on over to first. I'm going to start with a couple of questions because I think it's important. I do appreciate everyone that is coming over and giving questions and comments. There's a lot on the screen, so hopefully you're not on a phone, because you're just going to have to listen, because there's a lot on the screen, but I think it's important for you to understand, again, the importance of person, space, and time. So the question that was asked here it was from Eleanor, and she said, "Hi, Kathleen. This is so interesting. Thank you. You're very welcome. I'd love to learn more about long-term feng shui." That was a question that I put in last week, that if you are interested in other programs, please let me know, because then I can design things that would be of interest to you, obviously. Okay. Can I ask to clarify whether you can access the tiger energy in the Northeast 2 as well as Northeast 3, please? All right, let's take these a question at a time. So, whoops. What I want to talk about first is the compass dial. Now, this compass dial, again, there's a lot on this, as far as the question and all of that. Let me see what happens if I do this. Nothing. Okay. I was trying to make it bigger so you can see it, but you're gonna have to go look at either one of my other videos for the full compass. But I just want to quickly explain that her question was, using the tiger energy, can you use the tiger, which is Northeast 3, and I'm not sure if my compass, the pointer is looking at Northwest 3, right over this green swath here. When you go over to Northeast 2, no, it is no longer the tiger, it's mountain energy. So it is no longer the tiger. And if you go over a little bit more and you go into Northeast 1, then it becomes the ox. So every other 15 degrees, there's either an element or an animal. Animal, element, all the way around. So once you go out of Northwest 3, you are no longer in the tiger. I think where the confusion, apologize for that, so let me see if I can clarify that the when I was saying like it was potentially through a question that was asked about your personal power directions. And I was saying in 2021, we'd want to avoid completely looking at or facing any of these two directions. So if you're facing in any of these degrees, either in the year breaker or because, you know, if you turn the exact opposite, but there's other places that you could be to tap into the northeast energy. You just don't want to face directly onto um, the ox is what that means. So you have to be in the tiger to get the tiger energy. Okay. All right. So I thought not, but you mentioned something in the video in the energy of the whole sector and I don't have a tiger, but can I access it via the 3 harmony things? All right. So here's what I wanted to pull up in like if you were going to be using this way. And I pulled up actually today on how you could actually access the 3 harmony, if you will, within the chart. So it is a pig day, it looks like. It's even too small for me to see. So basically, and I'll talk more about this, the energy of the day. So we've got already a tiger in the chart. And if you wanted to use the tiger energy here, you know, that would be, you know, a way. But I use it mostly with charts and timing. But you could also put your body here. Use the dog hour because it's a very positive hour. But in this case, since we need that missing animal again, what we would need would be the horse because you need a dog, horse, tiger to get the 3 harmony, to get the fire. So this is actually person, space, and time. The reason why I wanted to bring this question up is I really want you to fully understand the impact of taking out one piece of the scenario. If you don't look at the chart, well, obviously it's no longer personalized. If you take out the space, you are actually taking out one peg, and now your stool that you might be sitting on, a 3-pronged stool, can be actually quite be quite stable, but if you take out one, then you are going to start teetering. Now, if you take away the timing, which where I feel you have an incredible amount of control over, then I believe you also are taking away some of your power. So I really think this question is a superb question, Eleanor. Thank you for asking it, because this is where you can start empowering yourself by using the system holistically instead of as standalone pieces. And this is what I'm trying to express to you, how important that is. All right, let's go to another question. Some of them are from past things that I was talking about, but I think they're important again for you to understand. My house sits in one corner of our land and it's triangle form. So a triangle, by the way, is a fire element. So there's different shapes that will start taking on elemental usage. So a triangle form is fire. So what is fire to you, and do you need more fire in your chart? Fire is about visibility. It's about happiness. But again, in the 2021 energies, fire is not the most favorable element in 2021. So you do have to take that into consideration. I wouldn't move solely on 1 year energy unless you know you have to, but otherwise what I would say is just keep oops, you can't even see that question. So then you would be you know, I wouldn't move solely on that, but it is a challenging piece of property because you can start losing things with shape as well. I always thought I had to lay down the compass in the middle of the land to get the outside directions. Is that wrong? There are several schools of thought on that. I personally, if there is a building on the property, let me repeat that. If there is a building on the property, I do take the center of the building and then radiate out whatever would be on the landscape. So the reason behind that, let me just come back on camera for just a second because this might be a little bit longer discussion. The reason behind that is when you take the property, you want to find out certain things about the, you know, the property that you've chosen. One is, when you put the compass dial on that building, it is now going to radiate out to the edges of your property. Now, one side might be, um, you know, have more land available to you, and some will have less. Where this starts coming into importance is when you start looking at the animals of your chart on the compass dial, what actually is in those areas in the garden landscape, as well as those numbers that you have, which I haven't really gone into, but the different numbers of your power direction. Like, for example, if you are a 1, when you look at the personal power directions on your chart, that's sort of below the destiny cycle areas. 1 is going to be north. 2 is going to be northeast. 3 is going to be in the east sector. 4 is going to be in the southeast sector. A 9 is going to be in the south. And then you're going to have an 8 in the southwest, a 7 in the west, and northwest is going to be a 6. So those actually also show up, and those are super important. Like, what is in those areas that is affecting the long-term feng shui of your space. So with that said, I'll do a little video on that one because that one's important. That's an important one that we should get out there. So Alice, note to Kathleen and self that this would be a good one to do. And that's all I'm going to say about that because we could go, I want to stay into today's material. But going back to the question of, I always thought you were supposed to take the middle of the garden. If there's no building there, then yes, try to get into the center part of the land, and then that's where the energy would be. And then that would also dictate, oh, if I'm going to build on that land, where's the best way that I'm going to be orienting the building? What is the, where are those animals, and how am I going to benefit it because of something that's coming in from the landscape and things like that. So if you want to rehear those numbers, you're going to have to rewind. I'm going to just leave it at that for right now. Okay. Let me go back to our presentation here. All right, so then Eleanor also asked, I wonder whether there's a good type of TimeBlazr day on which you should change your passwords, please. Yes, that's a great question. So what I would choose when it comes to TimeBlazr days, and I'll show you also if it comes back onto my mind again when I'm showing you on the TimeBlazr. But for sure, especially if you've had a little bit of an attack, like you've had identity fraud or something like that, I would absolutely use a positive remove day or a positive destruction day to just get those changed, get the old ones out, and then bring in the new. You're making space and bringing in the new. But truthfully, I would also use a stable day. I would also use a success day to do that, an established day to do that. Those would be my top choices. So this is something that you want to stay on top of because that certainly is going to that's something that we have to be doing constantly. Like fraud is on the rise, and it will continue to be on the rise as more technology comes into play, and more technology means more vulnerability, and you really do need to watch that piece of it. Again, maybe one day, we'll have to just find a day that maybe that's something that we could do. As a task, let's try to find a day to change those passwords, because that takes a lot of time. And so you may want, maybe we could find out some things like what would be a good password protection programs that about, so that we could help each other as well to get these things done, because sometimes things get done a little bit quicker when they're done in a group. All right, the last part of this is feng shui Q. Is there a way to offset stagnating effect of storage? We can't change the position of a built-in cupboard, etc. But I'm guessing keeping them clean, tidy, and ordered would help. Plus, using a green remove day to sort them out and leaving anything in the red sector to be sorted the next year. You answered your own question. So stagnating effects of storage. Storage should be still kept in order. And when it's not, that's especially when it just keep piling on. That's when things really start clogging the veins of your space. I want you to start thinking of your space as a body. And, you know, if you, this is maybe just a crazy random example, but if you took every piece of clothing, especially those pieces of clothing that you have not worn in years, and you just kept putting them on, and then you become like the Michelin man, because there's just so many pieces of clothing, but you're not really wearing these clothes anymore, but they just keep piling on. And you could do that with anything. It would be like boxes of, I don't know, office supplies or something, and you just start holding them on your body. You're not going to be able to move. Things are going to start to fall. There's going to be accidents and things like that. So the floor plan of your space, think of it as a body, with the head being the front door, et cetera, et cetera. But I want you to start thinking about, where is there congestion in the space, and especially if it's in those green areas. That would be my first suggestion, to get those orderly and tidy. And then just know, if you're starting to move too much of the energy of stagnation from, which should be kept quiet. I'm not a proponent of having like too much storage, like people that rent storage unit after storage unit, and they just keep piling things in. I feel the same way about digital, that at a certain point there should be, I don't want to should on you either, it would be advised that you look at your storage at least once a year and plan on it. Put this in your TimeBlazr, that you're going to spend the day, the weekend, this week, whatever the case may be. I want you to start thinking about how you can release some of those things that you honestly don't really need anymore, and really start thinking about how you can take your back control of your life. And having stagnation in the building means stagnation in your personal and business life. So yes, use a green remove day that is positive if you can. Also, avoiding those red sectors, because when you start moving too much energy there, then that means you've activated it, and that's where some problems can really start to arise. All right. What happened there? Okay. All right. Now what I am going to do is we're going to switch over to the TimeBlazr. Oops. What happened there? Looks like I have to close this window out. Just give me a second. There we go. Okay, cool. All right. Again, hopefully you're not calling in on, or watching this on a phone, because this can get pretty tiny when you're looking on a very, very small screen. So hopefully you're watching this on at least a desktop or a tablet. Better on a bigger screen. The easier it's going to be. All right. So what we're going to be looking at is, yes, the stable day. I'm going to go over that again. But as promised last week, I'm also going to be talking about the 27th. Why? Because many of you that are watching, and I see many of you who are opting in for our software. I've seen people from the Netherlands, Australia, India, the US, Canada. So Congratulations for you taking action towards your business goals. I really congratulate you on that, and thank you so much for your support. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk a little bit about the stable day, but I'm also going to go into the initiate day so that you have an opportunity to be working on your project. And again, what I would like you to do is put in the chat what is the program that you are going to be launching this week. So this is where we got to put the foot to the pedal and really accelerate. There's no more just sitting around thinking about it. What are you going to be launching? I want to know in the chat right now, and whether you're chatting, if you're watching this live or replay, please put in what you are going to be working on, because this is the get her done week, okay? This is rush week. For any of you who have done a program, like a live program where or a launch of any kind, this is where you're going to start seeing it's like, oh my gosh, there's all this stuff to do, but you can do it. You know, there's even a saying out there. I can't remember if it was Wayne Dyer or I can't remember who it was. Maybe one of our listeners know who originally said this. This is not Kathleen said this. Is, you know how you go on vacation and you hurry to get everything done, get everything in order, so that so you're actually like working very productively. So this is a week, just by looking at the week and seeing all of this green down here. This is a week of productivity. This is not a week of just like wasting it on stuff, but it is really something that I can tell you is going to be worth your while to speed it up a little bit. All right, so let's go into this is what the month looks like for those of you who are new. I'm not going to go over the icons and stuff. We did that on Friday when we planned out our week. So go back and look at Fridays, because this will tell you a little bit about the navigation. And let's go right into this day. All right, so first of all, today, for those of you who are listening in my geographic area, which is the California Pacific time. So we're right around this 12 o'clock mark right here. So just remember that the TimeBlazr is in two different, it's a 2-hour time block versus in the Western calendar where, every hour on the hour. This is every 2 hours on the hour. So really for the rest of the day here, we've got some challenging energy. We've got anything from this mixed energy from now all the way till about 5 o'clock. Then the energy drops again for the 5 to 6:57. But between 7 and 10:59 for this person, remember it's personalized to you. So your stars are going to look different. Your icons are going to look different unless you were born at the exact same day and time as our demo chart here. Then you would have a little bit different chart. But another thing that I want to have you understand, going back to, I think it was Eleanor who asked that question, would this be a good day to change your passwords? Yes. So you might want to look doing those between 7 and 11 o'clock tonight, 10:59, dog and pig hour. All right, so everyone right now, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to set an intention for today. So again, I would strongly suggest that you look at, for this particular week, what is the steps that you want to finish today? What is the intention for that to be? So it's a stable day, so we know that things are going to be pretty stable. We missed this particular spot. That's why I'm telling you a day ahead of time, which I'll do for tomorrow for those of you in other geographic areas. But even myself, I want to know when the most prime time, the most stable energy is going to be. So what do we do with these time slots? Well, this is content creation time. Yes, if you do have to pick up a a call or make calls today because you just found out about the programs, yes, please, by all means do. Just know what these different what these different areas are, and this can help indicate, oh, how I need to communicate. Now, travel block, if you're traveling, this would be something you need to be watching out for. But if you're not traveling, if you're sitting home in your home office right now and you just need to be making calls, it's not as important. Now, if somebody needs to travel to you, obviously they're going to be affected by that. That means that there could be really heavy traffic, there's a detour that they didn't know about, and so that's going to take them off course. But this could happen to you as well. So when you do see the travel block, leave large margins of time to help you get around that. I also look at travel block a bit as communication. So this could be an internet signal that could drop and things like that, that could slow your streaming speeds, things like that could be happening. So, you know, again, if you want to find out if English isn't your first language, or translated into American English, because I know there's many forms of English as well, then this might be a term where, oh, you know what, I need to go over and look in the where the training tab is. Just hit that training tab, and then when you go over there, basically you just pull up glossary number 3, which I've done over here already because it is a little bit of a download, and then you just look up any one of the terms that are in the TimeBlazr, and then this could actually help you understand a little bit deeper what they mean. So you do that on your own, but just letting you know that that resource is there. Okay, let's go back to strategic dates, and then let's go back to the TimeBlazr. All right, so this is a stable day. So what I plan on doing with once I finish with you is I'm actually writing out a email to some of my top clients, and I'm just doing a mid-year check-in. So I'm going to do a personalized email, not an auto blast, but I'm going to do a personalized email because I know what their goals are and things like that, and do a mention with that. So then at a better time, and then my TimeBlazr is a little bit different, and I already know that this is going to be a good time for me. So I will just hit send, 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 send. So this is how you use the TimeBlazr. So what are you going to be doing with a stable day today? So the stable day is saying that, you know, it's very good for starting out something on a very good foundation, and keeping things stable. So, you know, I definitely want to be reaching out to these top clients because I value them and their efforts that they're doing to improve their bottom line, because it all is not coming from me. Remember, this is a partnership between you and me. So, and then I'll follow it up with a phone call. So it might go to voicemail. So I will also have a script ready for how that is going to be. And actually, I'm also putting a link in there to my scheduler for them to have a mid-year discovery call with me. So that's how I'm going to be using the stable day today. And if I have time, I'm also going to be working on this program that I'm launching. So I will be I will be doing a dual kind of thing there, because the emails really, once those are written out, I still am going to have a good couple of hours to take care of working on that other piece. So what I also want to let you know is that we have this quick action here. I just want to re-emphasize the importance of the quick action when it shows up in the positive and negative influences. So the positive and negative influences prevail over the entire day. And the quick action, why I put it in a different color, I want you to be able to see it at a glance. Sometimes it's going to show up in the hour as well, not as often, and then rare, but when you see that and you've got some stars behind it, this is where it's a quick action hour and positive influence. You can pretty much expect a very quick answer to a question you may ask, or a very quick response to a signing of a contract or an outreach that you may have had. So when I see these, I plan for them, and I want to know what they are at the beginning of the month, where I see, oh, here's a quick action on this particular day. Can I use the day? Yes or no? If I can, whew, then that's where I plan out to make sure that we send something out from our office, or I pick up the phone to make important calls during that time. But here's my day, because I had the option, because I have had the TimeBlazr for 11 years now. I know when to plan out, and I want to make that available to you as well. So, and I want to teach you how to do that as well. So basically, now for the rest of my day, once I finish with you, I'll be working a little bit on the presentation tomorrow, but truthfully, I'm going to be doing everything that I just said that I was going to be doing. So for you, what I would like for you to do is, again, put in the chat, what are you going to be doing with today's stable day to stimulate your business in this next week? Because we've already built the building blocks, so we know what's in your chart, we know what's on your floor plan, and now this is the date selection piece, the TimeBlazr piece, the way of creating a calendar for you that is so empowering. It's unbelievable. All right. What I would like you to do is put that in the chat. What is it, how you're going to be using it today? That would be step number one. There is a very strong statistic. And let's do some accountability, me included. Tomorrow, I'm going to say whether or not I completed that task. So here's what my tasks are: writing out an email and attaching my scheduler to my top clients. So I already know what that top tier is. I'm going to be reaching out to them and putting in a personal note, something about a goal that they had said that they were going to be going after at the beginning of the year when they first onboarded at the top of the year. And then I'm also going to be working on program content that I'm working on. So those are the two things. Tomorrow, I want to tell you whether I succeeded or not. So statistically, when you state that you're going to be doing something and you do it publicly, there's a higher likelihood that you will, because who wants to come back here tomorrow and say, no, I started doing another task that was not monetizing for me, but I felt like I had to get it done, and yet here you are saying that you need more money in your business. So accountability time starts right now. So Alice, if you can put in the comments what I promise that I'm going to be doing, and then that way I will be accountable for that, because I want to stay with you right now versus going on Facebook and YouTube saying what I'm going to be doing. Okay. All right. Now let's look at tomorrow. And then again, my daily goal or intention today is to stay on task to achieve those two goals. So that's what the goal or intention is today. And stay, stable and balanced while I do it, instead of being like, oh, I got to get this, So, and the emails will go out during my positive time slot for today, because I'll be using my TimeBlazr. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next day. There's two ways that you can go to the day view. Well, there's several ways you can go to the day view. You could either click this button here, but let's just say you're still doing some planning and looking for that good day. You can also arrive here. So since I'm over here, I'm just going to click into it. All right. So tomorrow, again, you look at your stars, you look at your icons that will come through for you. And this is an excellent initiate day. All right, an excellent initiate day means that it's a good day to start something. So, and it's also a Yang Fire Rat day. So let's just go over to the TimeBlazr just so you can see what is kind of written and why it would be a value for you to go over to the guidebooks to get a more comprehensive definition. So it's a day that helps presents helpful people in one's life to allow smooth beginnings. So it is also actually bringing in some helpful people. It's suitable for beginning something new, such as opening up a new business, kicking off a new project, launching a new service or product, beginning to work with a new client, for signing contracts. This is a good day for beginning a new marketing or advertising campaign. So you could start a Facebook ad campaign, Google AdWords. You could, just do a post on Facebook or something like that, or on your social medias, LinkedIn, wherever it is that you're at, or launching a lead generation program. So if you have a lead magnet, ours, I think it's pretty obvious what ours are. It's the compass dials, the free 30-day time trial, as well as it is the free business astrology. So those are my lead magnets. So what is yours? Maybe this is where you're starting. You just want to increase your mailing list by 10%. So 10% is a lot in in just 1 week, but if you have a goal that this is where you're going to start by creating the lead magnet, maybe that's where you're at. I don't know. That you have to know in your own business. So it's also a good day for getting engaged or married. So you can see where it's also has some personal, and this is forging any partnerships, for example, and for starting renovations, for breaking ground on a new building. It's also a good day for starting an exercise or wellness program. Remember last week on Friday, we launched the TimeBlazr segment of the 3-week program on a remove day. And the reason why it was such a great remove day, for one, but it was also a planning day of how I plan out my week, which is on a Friday. So I said, for example, a remove day is good for starting the diet part of it, the nutrition part of it, starting a cleanse, getting rid of things. That's very good for a remove day. But for starting a new good habit, this would be a good day to start an exercise or wellness program. And I'm just going to stay, and at the bottom of the screen here, I can't see the bottom of the screen because there's a bar in my way. Closing the doors on a business, finishing a project, or dissolving a partnership. It's very hard to do that on a date because it just keeps trying to start over. It keeps starting to reboot. So if you're wanting to close a business or something like that, it's going to be very difficult to do because everything wants to just reboot. So there's better days to do certain activities. I hope you're getting that piece of it because this is critical to your success of using the TimeBlazr to schedule things in your calendar. For you to understand, you have to put the right peg in the right hole to unlock the true secrets of the TimeBlazr. Okay. All right, so the Yang Fire Rat, what is that to you? That's only what your chart will say, and it will clearly indicate whether that's good or bad up here by how many stars are relating to that. Luckily for this person, it brings in money and it's a 4-star day, so that's quite elevated, if you will, and it's on a green day. So we know it's positive because it's the color green. So what do we have here? We have mentors, we have relief, so we have people that are willing to help. You may have to pick up the phone and say, hey, I need some help, but it could be a day where it is, you just have the, helpful people showing up for you. And relief means give yourself a bit of a break, give your team a little bit of a break, give others a little bit of a break. Don't be so hard and critical and judgmental. I just throttle it back a little bit. Now, on a green day only, where you see big spender, it doesn't happen here, or voluminous, on a green day only, I can't emphasize this enough. This is where this is a wonderful potential for you to upsell. When you upsell, you can actually, use that big spender because people are willing to open up their wallets, their bank accounts, give you their credit cards, etc. on a day where a big spender shows up on a green day. This will be where people are just like, yeah, I love your stuff. I would love to be able to work with you. Now, if it showed up on a white day, it's a big spender. You could be spending a lot of money. This is not a day, even on a green day. I do not suggest you go shopping or go onto like an online platform where it's like play money, and then you order all this stuff where you intended to get one item and you end up getting like, several $100s or 1,000, whatever hurts for you, that's what ends up happening. So I would advise you not to do shopping, but this is a day that you would send out your invoicing. This would be a day where you would launch. This would be a beautiful day to have launched whatever your product is, because it would have been a product, service, or program. This would have been a beautiful day to do it, either earlier in the morning or this would be for tomorrow, earlier in the morning, if you've got some stars there, or later at night. Now that seems kind of crazy at night, but for those of you who do have clients that are all around the world, not so crazy. If you really want to open up markets, you may have to lose a little sleep yourself or your clients will have to be able, if you were doing something live. If it's an autoresponder, then just go ahead and send it out. All right. So the other thing about a big spender on a white day, you might get a lot of returns. So I would watch out for that as well. But do know when the green days are there, these actually diminish a little bit in the negative influence box, and these become amplified. It's the exact opposite. If this was a day void of color, then it would be the positive diminish and the negatives actually get a little bit more robust. So that's where you're going to have to think about, how am I going to play out this day? All right, so I would say, for this particular day, initiate. I'm going to be doing a little bit more of a personal, because some things that have happened this past year. I could use a little bit more exercise. So I'm definitely going to be doing that for this particular day. But it is also like, what else can I get started on this particular day that may or may not have an autoresponder attached to it, as in I'm reaching out to people, but maybe it is. I mean, we're sort of right in the middle of a launch, if you will. So there may be, an email that goes out that says, hey, if you happen to miss, week 1, week 2, this is where you can find those videos, and make sure that you tune in to get the best of planning out your calendar the TimeBlazr way to stimulate your business, or something like that. That basically is, just staying engaged with your clients, and you're not really asking them to do anything other than you've got this great content and you want them to, learn about it and use it. So again, this day during normal working hours, and 7 to even 6 or whatever, again, we don't have a lot of good times during the day to use this day for a launch, unless you are willing to launch, during the wee hours of the morning or evening, late time. Then you really have got to use this day for, again, content creation and helping yourself move that needle. So it's not, obviously, I'm sure you all are understanding this, that it's not about just having, I'm going to do this program. There's a lot of work that goes behind creating a program. And that would be, you're going to be looking at, your lead magnets, your onboarding, your follow-up. You need to create content in itself. Whether you do it live or not, you still have to create this content. So to me, this is great. I will be able, and you could do discovery calls and stuff like that during this time. So it's not necessarily, yes, would you say, and let's just talk about a discovery call. Let's just say that you are going to be planning out your day tomorrow. And what I would look at is, where are the best times that I have access to for me? And again, I'm just using this as an example. This isn't my TimeBlazr. So the first thing that I look at is, where are their stars? So their stars during these green times, great. Might be able to do something autoresponder way, and then late at night. Okay, but let's face it, not during the day. So let's just say that we're working 9 to 7 o'clock at night, and we're going to take an hour we're going to take an hour lunch, which I highly recommend that you do versus sitting in front of your desk. Yes, am I guilty of doing that? Yes, I have done that in the past. But as a long-term habit, that also has long-term negative impacts. Again, Google it if you don't believe me. That you just need to get away from your desk, give your eyes a rest from your computer. Uh, give your brain a little bit of rest and all of that. So, okay, then on this particular day, I'm going to take, this is tomorrow, which will be pretty much right after I finish up with you. I will be taking my lunch break from whatever time I finish up. And so that already eats away some of that negative energy because I'm doing it to nourish my body, right? And just take a little bit of a respite. But what do I do with the rest of the day? The rest of the day still looks like crap. Okay, well, remember this is a green day. So some of this gets diminished a little bit, but we still have to remember it's still there. And we have to take all of this and put it over this particular day, the positive and the negative. So what am I looking at? I'm looking at wealth accumulation, love that. And then we've got devious intent and travel block. Again, am I traveling, not traveling? Don't have to worry about it. So I'm not traveling. Devious intent, I do. So I do need to look at, is there anyone kind of behind the scenes that is trying to harm what I'm trying to do? Maybe yes, maybe no, but it's something that I should be aware of, that if that actually surfaces during this time, I'll know how to better communicate. But again, to me, there's a lot of content that I need to be creating. And so, truthfully, I will probably not be too worried about this. Disruption, so easy to happen to be disrupted. One of my favorite apps on my phone, I have it turned off right now because we're broadcasting. One of the favorite apps that I have is my timer on my phone. I am always timing myself. I've got timers set throughout the day for a number of things. One is to make sure that I get up and move. Because they say that you should get up and move, at least once an hour. Again, rest your eyes, even if it's looking off at the distance. It takes like what, 30 seconds just to take on a different position versus this all the time, right? So that was hovering over a keyboard. But I also have a stand-up sit-down desk. If you don't have a stand-up sit-down, you can make one. Put a stack of books up there that you can take your laptop, if it's a laptop, from the stand-up position to the a seating position. But it is also like you could take your laptop and put it on top of a dresser or a counter or something like that to make it higher, for when you stand up you would have that movement in your body, because I'm sure you've heard this as well, that sitting is the new smoking. So we do need to get some movement in our body. But it is also indicating to me that, if I didn't set a timer, then I might get disrupted by going onto social media when I shouldn't be going onto social media, instead of, like this is where you want to start turning off notifications. I'm really seeing the value of keeping my phone in a different room for several reasons. This is kind of something new that I'm starting to do, is turning off my phone for intervals during the day, because it is disruptive. So if I see that there's disruption happening, what can I do to avoid those disruptions? For me, notifications and turning my phone off are two great steps. Now, if I've got an appointment that's a phone appointment, obviously that's not going to happen, but there could be another disruption. My internet could drop, their internet could drop. Somebody comes into the room when I'm having a conversation, they didn't know that I was either broadcasting or something like that. That could happen. So what do I do before? Remember, I'm broadcasting at this time. Those are the things that you're going to want to start to help you avoid these things that are happening. Planning ahead is the TimeBlazr way of handling these types of things. Entanglement is entanglement. You could get embroiled in something, whether it be an argument or something like that. That is really what that could be indicating. But again, taking a lunch at this time, so hopefully that will be just, I'll just only have to deal with this for an hour. And then during the monkey hour as well as the rooster hour, we've got counterproductive. But counterproductive is you're not doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. You're choosing to do something that is uh, counterproductive to what you say that you're going to be doing. Nobody's setting your goals. You're setting your goals for yourself. How true to you are they? So during that time, do your best to stay on task. Use the good parts of the hour, and then do whatever you can to avoid the consequences or outcomes of following something that would be, um, you know, taking you off task. So that's how I would use it. But then the other thing would be is, okay, I still have this star system to look at. This particular hour doesn't really have a connection to me. I could still use it. But at this point, it would be like, I'm not launching during these times anyway. So I'm not so worried about it. What I want you to understand is, all right, you have to have an appointment during this time. If I had to make an appointment, I still would use the stars over a non-connection to the day. And then I probably would just say, if I've got to meet a client, I would probably do my best not to meet between 1 and 2:59. I would try to make a 3:30 appointment and really watch the counterproductiveness, because they could even bring in something that happened to them, and it takes you off the purpose of the call. Listen for a few moments, be the compassionate consultant or practitioner and listen, but then redirect the energy and say, really sorry that that's happening. Oh, I understand. I'm empathetic. Whatever it is that is the circumstance, and let me see if I can help you, and then get back onto your discourse, right? So that's how you can handle disruptions, entanglements, counterproductive, all of those things is like listen and then redirect. They're still there. Now, it wouldn't be a good time to sign a contract during this time because, again, it's counterproductive. Whatever you sign will probably not be the end of all ends. So that's something I want you to be thinking about. Okay. All right. So that's how I would like you to think about what are you going to initiate tomorrow, and tomorrow being the 27th. So as you can see, this is not a do later program. It is a do now program. So again, this is where we can get the most out of the TimeBlazr. So then what we do also have to kind of looking ahead, we're looking at a destruction day, a risk reward day, and a success day when we finish up this week. So destruction day, it's not going to be a real positive one. So, but we'll talk about that. We'll recap the initiate on what you did based on today's information, the stable day, how you're going to get ready for the initiate. We'll talk about that. We'll do a brief recap and then get into the destruction day for the following day here. Let me go over to the other screen. Okay, so I think we did very well on that particular piece, so I'm happy that we were able to get through. Here's a couple things I would love for you to do if you haven't done so already. Go ahead and put in the comments what you are going to be working on today. And remember, tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Pacific, we'll be back, and we're going to be going over the current day and more deeply the next day for those of you who are in a different time zone. So let's look at see if we have any comments today. Just give me a second while I am... Hi, Sandra. This is, I think, the first time I have seen you. So thanks for tapping in today. We appreciate that. And I don't see any other comments. So again, remember, you got to play to win. So that means adding your comments. This would be a heck of a good time to do that right now. And what I'm going to say is we are at the end of our presentation for today. So I do, hold I do want to ask one last bit of you today is for you to please like, comment, and share. Go to bit.ly/stimulate your business so that you get notifications on everything that we are doing here. And I will see you tomorrow at 11:30 Pacific. And just very quick, I'm going to put up the URL again for those of you who might have missed it. I know Alice put it into the comments, but go to free30timetrial.com to get your personalized version of the TimeBlazr, and I'm very, very excited for you, for those of you who are really participating in this program fully with both feet and arms and everything that you have, with all of your senses, that you have an impactful stimulation to your business, and which evidently will also bring more of good things to your personal life as well. So thank you again. We really appreciate you tapping in. It means a lot to me and my assistant Alice, who puts a lot of work into doing this program as well. And we will see you tomorrow at 11:30. So have a wonderful, stable TimeBlazr day. Take care. See you soon.